guys, nice to see you again in a different format. So on my Instagram, I did a poll of what video you guys wanted next, and you guys voted for a study tips video. So now I'm going to share some of my favorite studying tips. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you have any studying tips of your own, please comment below. So my first tip is to have a clean workspace, void of distractions, get rid of all your junk, and only have the materials you are reviewing and working on your desk. I'm kind of old school, but my favorite way to memorize vocab is to use flashcards. To me, that really works way better than any virtual flashcards or online Google Docs of vocab. I don't know what it is about flashcards, but it really helps vocab stick in my memory. When I'm working with a lot of vocab words, I don't go through all the flashcards at once. What I'll usually do is take 3 or 5 and focus on those words. Once I get all those words down, then I take another new vocab word from my stack and put it on the working stack I'm currently trying to learn. I'll keep doing that until I now know that new word, and then I'll just keep adding in until eventually I go through the whole stack. As you're going through a new lesson, you're probably gonna start having questions. And it's good to have questions and try to seek the answers, but my tip for you is to wait till you're done studying before you try to search for that question. So many times I've studied, came to a question, and then totally distracted myself for an hour trying to find the answer to that question when I should have been studying. So just wait. If you find a question, write it down, and then when you're all done studying, go on HelloTalk or go on Google and find the answer then. But please don't try to do it during the lesson because you're just going to get so distracted, or at least I do. So another big question I get all the time on Instagram is that I know so many vocab words, but whenever I try to have a conversation, I just can't get the words out there, or it takes me too long to think, so I can't carry a conversation. So then people ask, like, what should I do? How do I fix this? Well, recently I've been taking second language acquisition in college, and I learned this interesting method. Instead of trying to learn a word and then compare it to your native language word, you should instead try to remember the meaning of the word. Let me give you an example. When you think of a word and then compare it to your English word or whatever your native language is, you are trying to translate the word. And sure, you're going to memorize it eventually if you keep trying to do that. But then when you go to speak, there's going to be a delay time because your brain is thinking of the English word, then it's trying to translate, and then you're finding the Korean word or whatever language word you're trying to learn. So instead of remembering the translation, you should remember the meaning of the word. So when you're trying to learn a new word, don't think this means this. Actually try to think, what is this word? So for example, if you're learning the word fish, instead of thinking, well, fish is this in this language, maybe you should just look at a picture of a fish. Or try to remember, okay, so what is a fish? So you can say, like, this word means an animal swimming in the water. So you're trying to think of the meaning, not the translation. And this will really help in the delay time. A lot of people ask me, what is the best resource to try to find ways to pronounce Korean vocabulary? And to that I say either Naver Dictionary or YouTube. Naver Dictionary is a free online dictionary that connects you to audio clips of native speakers speaking Korean. Also, it connects you to videos of your favorite idols, maybe using the word. It's really easy to use. You just have to type in the word and it pops right up. For YouTube, I also love using that as a resource, and not many people think of it as a type of audio dictionary, which surprises me a lot. YouTube is really awesome. I'll pop up a video, but basically what I do when I'm having trouble pronouncing a word or just want like a visual for the word, I'll type in the Korean word in the search bar, and of course, tons of videos in Korean will pop up. So, for example, I looked up the word occupation in Korean though, and it put up tons of like children's videos on uh, pororo singing and talking about occupations. So there's like an interview prep thing for Korean that like how to prep for your future occupation. But it's really cool because like the videos will teach you the vocab word in its context, which is very, very important for memorizing the vocab word and really getting to truly understand the meaning of the word. I'm not sure if you guys can relate, but when I try to learn Korean, I always end up going through these periods where I study every day for 2 hours, for a whole week. I'm doing really, really great. And then at the end of the week, I do not want to look at another Korean word. I just get complete burnout. And I have talked to a few people about this, and I feel like people do get this. And it's really sad because Korean is something I really enjoy, but I feel like the more interested I become in Korean, the more burnt out I feel. But at the same time, I want to learn Korean, but then when I try too hard and I really work on it, then my brain is like, please stop. um, I think basically I should just say I suffer from burnout. I I get way too into something and then I just burn out. If you're like this, I guess my studying tip would be take breaks and do Korean freely. If you're just doing Korean as a hobby, keep it a hobby. Don't try to transform it into something else because then you're just going to get burnt out. If it's a hobby, keep it fun, keep it happy. Don't work yourself too hard because you don't want to turn something you love into something that makes you feel stressed and upset. Um, but now I'm starting to ramble. Back to burnout. Um, One thing that I started doing is instead of studying for 2 or 3 hours straight, I'm taking this new method where actually I saw this some YouTuber did it. It's called like tomato studying or something like that. Some scientists created it, and I was watching this YouTuber. They were doing it too. And it's basically a method where you study for 20 minutes, then you take a 5 minute break, study for 20 minutes, take a 5 minute break, study for 20 minutes, take a 5 minute break, study for 20 minutes, take a 5 minute break, and then you stop. You're done. It feels like a really short time, but you actually end up learning a lot of information without feeling completely burnt out. Honestly, it's like the perfect way to study. Also, recently I've been kind of taking this to another level. So, in that study method, you have 4 20-minute studying sessions. Well, there's also four main parts of any language you learn: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So, what I'll end up doing is for the first 20 minutes, I'll only focus on reading. Then, the second 20 minutes, I'll only focus on writing. Third 20 minutes, I'll only focus on listening. And the last 20 minutes, I'll only focus on speeding. Not speeding, on speaking. I guess my brain was speeding during that sentence. But yeah, you don't have to do it in that order. I don't always do it in that order. But I think that's a good way to use that studying method and make it also very well rounded with your studies. Talking about speaking, it's so important to speak Korean and not just write it. If you don't want to do the four parts I mentioned, that's fine. But please, please speak Korean as you write with it. I am guilty of just opening up my textbook and just writing down notes, being happy and just writing and being like, "Oh, look how much I'm learning." But I never took the time to read it, and my reading struggles so much because, well, yes, I can read it, but I can't speak it out loud. And I never focused on that. And that's a big part of pronunciation. You need to practice to speak. If all you ever do is read, you're not just gonna go out there and speak. And I was stupid. I thought, well, I can read all this. I can just go out there, speak it right away. No, you need to practice. No matter how fast you can read and all the knowledge you know, if you don't practice speaking, you can't really speak out there in the real world. So just keep that in mind. If you're not going to do the 4 parts that I suggested, at least try to somehow keep your studying well-rounded. That way, what you're studying can actually be useful. And my last tip today is something I'm going to share that my professor actually told me. One of my college professors, he actually speaks 7 different languages. And he has studied a lot with language acquisition and trying to learn new languages. And he was trying to give me a few tips because I was saying I wanted to learn Korean. And he told me one of the best tips he learned is that people actually learn languages the best at night. He was telling me about this scientific study. I forgot most of the details, but he said, according to the study, people write best in the morning, and they learn language the best at night. It has something to do with if you learn it right before you sleep, then your subconscious, while you sleep, will better absorb the information because it's more fresh on your mind, so your brain thinks it's more important, so then it will file it into the please remember me bin. So if you're having a lot of difficulties with remembering it, or you want to learn Korean but you're just trying to figure out a place in your schedule, maybe you should consider learning it at night. So I think that's the end of my video. I hope you guys like this kind of podcasty style, I would say, because what I'm saying doesn't really go with the video. The video is just me studying. So you could even listen to this without any of the video. I just thought the video would complement it a bit. But I hope you like my ramblings. If you like this style of just me talking videos, please let me know. And I hope you find my tips useful. Please comment below if you have any tips of your own. I'm always trying to improve my studying methods because no one's perfect. I do need to fix some things, but I do think I have a pretty good study session going on now, or study method. Sorry, now I'm rambling again. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me. I really appreciate you all, and I hope you have a good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.